All right, my friends, it is time to read The Sad Night, the story of an Aztec victory and a Spanish loss, written by Sally Schofer Matthews. The Aztecs and other peoples of Mexico wrote with pictures on bark pages that were connected together in one long accordion folded piece. We call these books codices. 500 years ago, when Spanish soldiers conquered Mexico, they collected and destroyed almost all the codices. The artwork of this true story is based on the fewer than 20 codices and codex fragments that remain. 3 words from the Aztec language, Nahuatl, are pictured and pronounced below: Tenochtitlan, Moctezuma, Quetzalcoatl. Okay, so as the story is going, there's some beautiful art pieces of art in this book. That's why I wanted you guys to read this. Feel free to pause the video so you can take a look at what you see in the picture. For example, go ahead and try to find the jaguar. I see a jaguar here. Try to find the monkey. I feel like this is a monkey over here. I don't know what this thing is over here, like a reindeer or something. We've got some snakes over here. I'm telling you, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. All right, let's keep going. Long ago in Mexico, when volcanoes sent lava rivers steaming into the jungles and jaguars hissed messages to man, a wandering people listened to their leaders. We must move again, the priest said. Put on your sandals and your robes, and take your children by the hand, and walk and keep on walking until you see an eagle on a cactus with a rattlesnake in its beak. In that place, we will build an empire. Every day they walked, to sleep they curled up in their robes, to eat they chopped up cactus and roasted rattlesnake meat. And one day, one very good day, they looked across a lake and saw an eagle on an island. It was perched on a cactus, with rattlesnake twisting around in its beak. They named the island Tenochtitlan, which means the place of the cactus stone. We must make boats, the leader said, to get from here to the island. And when we live there, we'll travel on streets of water. And we must make our buildings tall enough to meet the sun, for the sun will light the way for us to become a noble people. The people worked hard. They built huge stone pyramids and put temples on top. They constructed palaces of stone with hundreds of rooms. They built causeways across the lake with bridges they could take away. They were safe. They were strong. They were the Aztecs. They began to want their neighbors' land. Ferocious Aztec warriors, the Jaguar Knights and the Eagle Knights, took over territory that belonged to other Indians and forced them to pay again and again to stay alive. The Aztecs had built an empire in less than 200 years. Everyone was afraid of them, and their king, Moctezuma, was the most powerful man in Mexico. Trouble for the Aztecs began in the year of one reed, 1519. The king's men reminded him of the warning. Danger will come to us this year by boat. Royal Moctezuma, our ancestors told us that the feathered serpent god would return to Mexico to take over our kingdom. They said that when he comes, Quetzalcoatl will not look like a feathered serpent, but like a man. If he takes over, what will become of us? Are we doomed? Royal Prince, what should we do? Quetzalcoatl is not a god of war, said Moctezuma. He wants poems and beauty and thoughtful words. Perhaps he comes to test us. I will wait. I will see. And then I will decide. For now, we will wait, and I will make an offering to the god. Hidden by the jungle, Aztec lookouts watched the biggest boats they had ever seen anchor on the shores. Soldiers wearing metal clothes crawled from the ships, then burned and sank the ships. The lookouts ran back over the mountains to Tenochtitlan with the news Quetzalcoatl and his army had arrived from the direction of the sunrise. I wonder who these people wearing metal were. But it was not Quetzalcoatl who had arrived on the eastern shore of Mexico. It was Hernan Cortes, a captain from Spain, sailing along the coast in search of gold and land. He and his small army had met some Indians who were friendly and some who had tried to chase them away. All were unhappy with the harsh Aztec rule. Moctezuma sent messengers to the Spanish campsite with golden gifts for Quetzalcoatl. He hoped the god would bless the Aztecs, then go back home. But Cortes, realizing he had been mistaken for a god, began the long march to Tenochtitlan. Again, Moctezuma chose important gifts from his treasury of gold and jewels, and he and his men met Cortes and his army on a causeway. Does a king fight a god only if he wants to die? Moctezuma welcomed Cortes. Please consider my palace as your home. Come rest and eat. We are ready for you. The Spanish soldiers stared in amazement at the beauty of Tenochtitlan and the noble Moctezuma and their golden presents. They asked one another, Are we in heaven? ¿Estamos en heaven? All right, take a look at this picture now, and I want you to try to find a couple of key terms. Find the city of Tenochtitlan. Should be over here. This is Tenochtitlan. Find Moctezuma. Where would Moctezuma be? Well, these are the Aztecs, and it must be the leader that's in this little cart that's carried by these two servants. So this guy must be Moctezuma. Find Hernan Cortes. I'm thinking it's this guy over here with the beard walking with his other Spanish conquistadores. Also, we have his guide, La Malinche or Dona Maria over here. All right. Yet in the palace, the soldiers of Spain went to bed with their boots on, in full armor, clutching their weapons. Outside, the Aztec warriors whispered to each other that gods or not, the Spaniards seemed like enemies. On their march from the coast, Cortes and his army had killed many Indians with weapons no one had seen before. Cannons, guns, metal knives, dogs trained to attack. Wow, wow. And horses that carried soldiers. The Aztec generals wanted Spanish blood to flow. Say the word, Royal Moctezuma, they snarled. Rrr. And before the sun leaves us today, we will slay these intruders as quickly as a jaguar pounces on a rabbit. Meanwhile, the Spanish soldiers complained to Cortes, There are thousands of Aztec warriors and only 400 of us. You must do something to protect us, sir. Please do it now. So Cortes, his captains, and Doña Marina, the Indian interpreter, marched to the royal palace with strong, smooth words. They asked Moctezuma to come stay with them as a hostage until they felt safe. Moctezuma did not want to go. You are my guests, he assured them. Therefore, you cannot be in danger. Afraid that their plan might fail, a Spanish soldier threatened to stab him. To prevent bloodshed, Doña Marina urged Moctezuma to go with them quickly. The king agreed, ordered his guards not to move, and went with Cortes. Oh, damn! They kidnapped Moctezuma, yo! Though Moctezuma was still in command of Mexico, he was a prisoner. He turned over to Cortes all the gold in his treasury room. The Spaniards melted the gold and gold jewelry into bars small enough to carry in their clothes. Moctezuma's advisors visited him often and tried to persuade him to leave. We can overpower them, they insisted. The king refused. I will wait, he said. I will not fight. Quetzalcoatl? I will not fight Quetzalcoatl. I will not fight a god. Moctezuma, this is not a god, bro. This is a bearded dude from a place far away. Aztec lookouts from the eastern coast ran to Moctezuma with an important message. 19 more Spanish ships had landed at Veracruz. Moctezuma told Cortés that more Spaniards had arrived, expecting him to be pleased, but Cortés knew the newcomers were not his friends. The King of Spain had sent troops to capture him, since he had burned his ships and acted on his own, commanding an officer named Pedro de Alvarado to keep control in Tenochtitlan. Cortés took some troops and left on horseback for Veracruz. He planned to defeat the new arrivals and then talked them into joining him in search for more gold. Meanwhile, Alvarado gave the Aztecs permission to dance in a religious ceremony in front of the great temple. A huge crowd gathered, and Alvarado and his men, fearing an uprising, struck first. They slaughtered every priest, musician, and dancer in the courtyard. Oh my God, the Spaniards are killing Aztecs. Moctezuma, shocked and angry but still a prisoner, commanded his army to hold back. Wait until their leader returns, he said. I believe he will punish his soldiers for this act of war. You will see. Oh man, you gullible dog. When Cortés returned, followed by an army of several thousand soldiers, he rode his horse along a deserted causeway. No procession came to greet him. No Aztec lords with gifts of gold. The heavy marching of his soldiers echoed down the streets. In the palace, Cortés raged at Alvarado for the slaughter, but there would be no pardon, for the Aztec warriors, outnumbering the Spaniards by thousands, swarmed over the rooftops and filled the streets, slinging rocks and attacking with clubs, arrows, spears, and fire. Take Moctezuma to the roof, Cortés ordered, and make him tell his people to stop. Tell them we'll leave peacefully. Turning his face from the Spaniards, Moctezuma said quietly, I welcomed you as a god returning to his own land, yet you are destroying us. My people are angry. They have chosen another to be king when I die, and they have made up their minds not to let you leave this place alive. I can no longer help you. Nevertheless, he tried to end the fighting by climbing to the roof to speak to his people. He told them that if they stopped their attack, the Spaniards would leave Mexico. An angry person in the crowd threw some stones at Moctezuma. Suddenly many people were throwing stones, and Moctezuma fell. The Spaniards laid him on a mat, but he refused their doctor's help. In a cell of his family palace, the king of the Aztec's son died in pain and sorrow. By custom, Aztec warriors did not fight at night. They removed their bridges from the causeways, so no one could enter or leave the city, and went home to sleep. The Spanish soldiers secretly had been building a portable wooden span to use as a bridge. Night came, and the Aztecs left the palace courtyard and deserted the streets. Rainfall darkened the sky and would muffle the sound of marching. Wait, what the heck just happened? Sorry. Hold up. I lost my spot. And we back. The sound of marching. The Spaniards took this chance to escape, knowing they might not get another. They loaded some of the Aztec gold onto horses and helped themselves to the rest of it. Carrying heavy weapons and weighed down with gold, the men moved quickly toward the causeway. At a gate, an Aztec sentry saw them and shouted an alarm. At the first gap in the causeway, the Spaniards lowered their wooden bridge. It held strong as the parade of soldiers, horses, and cannons crowned across. But Aztecs were behind them, running toward them from the city. They were sliding through the water in hundreds of canoes, yelling for room to work. The Spanish crews pulled and tugged at the bridge to lift it up, but it was stuck. All right, looks like I need another video. See you in a bit.